Hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. How are you guys doing? Hope everybody is having a good week. So, there is a lot happening on the podcast, and there is some new stuff that I'm going to be talking about on the podcast. As most of you have seen or just know, that I've taken kind of a break on podcasting and a break on my TikTok page because I really need to find a sense of direction on how I want to operate this business and where I want to take this brand. Okay. So I'm going to be explaining all that in this episode. Plus, you're going to hear two different episodes this week because I am wrapping up podcast episodes for 2025. So we are wrapping it up because I have some really big shit and some exciting things coming for 2026. So in episode 51, I am going to do the 2025 wrapped episode. So the Spotify wrapped because I've got all the results for this podcast and I couldn't be prouder of it. And it's all thanks to you that continue to listen, subscribe, and just binge the show. So thank you so much, everybody. This is fucking amazing. So I know that earlier in the year, I really took a huge shift when it came to my brand. And originally this podcast started talking about, being a special needs parent and all the things that special needs moms and parents really need to know. And I really gave some very valuable information when it came to that. But there was something in my intuition and gut that was screaming, we need to do something different. And you have a higher calling and a higher mission that you need to just get out there and just talk about. So I kind of shifted and wanted to do healing in a very savage way because there had been things in 2025 that really had rocked me to the core. So there was a relationship for me that was very, very serious. And that relationship, unfortunately, did come to an end, not because I wanted it to. My partner decided to end our relationship and he had his own reasons to do that. So it really rocked me to the core. And I just figured that just to share my healing journey in real time and just things and just avenues of trying to help other women, well, that wasn't my calling either. So I just was like, no, this shit doesn't resonate. And the reason is because I was talking about relationships. I was talking about inner child wounds. Now, the inner child stuff does stick. And it's the core of my essence. Because when it comes to relationships, a lot of it stems from, your childhood and how you receive love from the people who are supposed to take care of you, love you, and parental, direction. But the thing is I'm going to be really honest with you guys. The whole relationship talk and dating and all that shit is so fucking played out and I'm so over it. I really am. And even though I did share parts of my healing journey in real time, and I've become more of a secure person, which, it's a lot of work. And there are days where I just fucking get triggered, but I know how to manage my triggers where I can just say, okay, this doesn't feel good for me and why. But you see that shit online, on Facebook, on Instagram, especially on TikTok. And just the dating shit was really it just bothered me so much. And I kind of stopped posting and I've stopped talking about it. So I just really had a moment where I said, you know what? I need to burn all this shit down. So of course, this episode, I'm going to be talking about why I burnt down these old brands and how I have rebirthed a new brand that feels good. It's in the sense of direction and how I came to just taking this direction in my brand. Okay. Personally, I had an identity crisis. I really outgrew the previous two brands because yes, I am a special needs mom. Yes, I have had troubles and things in relationships and dating and things like that. And yes, I am a divorced person. And yes, I've had 2 relationships post-divorce because I'm very selective. I'm fucking picky as hell on who I decide to date. And yes, those relationships didn't work out. But it taught me a lot about myself and how I operate just as a woman who is powerful, who is feminine, and I'm fucking feral as fuck. So, but those 2 brands, I really outgrew them because I needed to do more to help other women out there. I needed to do more, to really hone in on my message. So being polite and just being censored and being, this is what I should talk about, really didn't fucking align with me. So as you all may not know, or you may know, I do have a life coach. She is very spiritual. She is a business coach, and I have been in her world for a very long time. And the way she has shifted her brand, I'm telling you, I'm just in awe because I've seen it just play out in real time. And it's just fucking amazing when you have somebody that just owns their power and they're being their true highest self. And she calls me out on my shit and she drags that shit out of me. So being polite just wasn't what I wanted to do. And I didn't want to talk about the same things that everybody is talking about because, of course, it's fucking played out. Okay. So we did this exercise where we dove into our human design and our birth chart, which I'm a very wooey, just kind of astrological, spiritual kind of person. So that is my vibe. I love it. Okay. You give me tarot cards, you give me that. I absolutely love it. I love everything about birth charts because a lot of it that I pulled out really resonates on who I am as a person. And my human design is fucking spot on how I operate. So it didn't align. My previous two brands didn't align with what was pulled out of those two things, my human design and my birth chart, and just my whole lived experience. Just in general, I wanted something that was bolder. I wanted something that had more of a deeper connection with people and something that just was fucking fiery and just in a direction that is like, holy shit. So according to my birth chart, I have a lot of Aries energy and I'm also a Cancer rising. So my Venus sign is in Aries. So there's a lot of fire energy in my chart considering that I am a Pisces, but I have that bold leadership, that fucking fire and just feral shit in my birth chart. Plus I'm also a Cancer rising, which is very, nurturing, mothering like, and things like that. So when you have those two things, fucking watch out. So I kind of took those two things and said, okay, I really want to build a brand that really incorporates those two things together, that really gives that connection. And the thing is that as much as I scroll on social media, especially TikTok, because TikTok is one of my favorite platforms, like I see that there is a gap. And I saw this gap with myself because I am a content creator. I do create content. Podcasting is content. And I am a content creator. So the gap that I kind of saw with myself is that when I would create content, I would be afraid to just be my authentic self and just be who I am because of the conditioning that I've had as a child where don't say that, it might piss somebody off, don't do this, don't do that, where I can really set myself apart as like, no, this is me. And this is me in a bold, feral, dark feminine kind of bulldozing. Okay. And just stand out from the masses. So I kind of did some, research, and a lot of times I get my best ideas, especially when I can't sleep at night. So, or when I'm working out too. So what I come to find out is there is this gap that I do see, like small business owners, women who are small business owners and have personal brands, that there is this gap as far as their content, okay, where their content doesn't really resonate to what their personal brand is, okay, and how they show up in their content, where you see other women teaching strategy without understanding that a lot of the times the way women show up in their content, it's usually out of fear because it's forced, because they have to post today or else they won't make money. They're conditioned to, I want to be liked and I want to be relatable. Like, fuck all that shit. Okay. Because in my businesses, yeah, I may be relatable to a point, but there are a lot of things that I do talk about that are polarizing and they're hot takes and people sometimes do not like it. And that's okay. You have to open up yourself to not being liked. And that's what happens when it comes to content creation. Like somebody can post videos of their cat and somebody can go in with a shitty ass comment because they don't like that. Okay. It's the same thing when it comes to, women who have personal brands. So that is the disconnect that I kind of see with teaching, content strategy and not knowing the understanding of different inner child responses and how it shows up in the content. I can tell you from my own personal experience, like my inner child wounds would show up in my content. Like I would censor myself. I wouldn't talk about certain things. I would, want to be liked and not have negative comments. But when you have positive feedback, you're also going to get the negative too. Okay. And when it comes to social media, you just have to have thick skin. You really do. Because there's a lot of people that are going to disagree. But that is just the way I see other women in this industry just teach content strategy, which is not the way to do it. You should teach content strategy as being authentic, as being you. You need to be polarizing. Yes, you're going to have hot takes. People are going to disagree. People are going to shit on you and hate on you. That's fine. Okay. But you, as that personal brand, you own that shit because that's how you make money. Because when you stand on business and you say, no, this is how it is, and you create content from a healed place, okay? When you create content where it's emotionally safe, you don't care about what other people think, and fuck everybody else if they don't like you. That's when you make money. That's when people listen because you draw in the right people. So I noticed this gap with myself, and that's why I draw in the type of following that I do. So it may not be hundreds of thousands of followers, okay? Because the following doesn't matter to me. That shit does not matter to me. What matters to me is that my content resonates with somebody, that it's valuable, and it teaches you something, and it solves your problem. Okay? So I have decided to shift my brand as the Feral Brand Method. So where I go ahead and we stop self-sabotaging our content, okay, for women who have personal brands, small businesses, and they really want to elevate themselves so they can make that fuck you money, okay? So that is my new direction. That is my new brand, and I'm fucking super excited because it's really going to take off for 2026. So, and I see a lot of this where women will let their inner child run their fucking content and you can see it. How do I know? Because I did it and my coach called me out on it. So we're going to stop that because I have a way to help. And how I kind of dove in to really rebranding into this business is because I helped a friend out with some stuff in their business. And when I went ahead and took out my whiteboard and started, writing notes and say, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and helped them go ahead and just elevate their business, to elevate their content and what they should do on TikTok to really draw the masses. I can tell you, they upped their revenue by like 20K. And I was impressed that I could do that. And I said, I need to do more of this work because as I was making all these notes and giving them a content strategy and how to market it, the proper way. So it really worked out. And I was very passionate about it because I took the time and I said, okay, this is what you need to do as far as content. This is how you should break down. This is what you should talk about, blah, blah, blah. And I really put it together for all of them because they were having a hard time with content creation because they were stuck in the inner child bullshit where, well, what if nobody likes it? What if I get rejected, and the people pleasing and the oversharing? No, we're not going to trauma dump. That's not what we're here for. You want to grow your brand. So you have to speak to the person who fits your brand. Like, think of it as a FaceTime call. Talk to that person and just be authentic, be real, be you. And I broke down an entire content strategy, sent it to them in 20K, just like that. So that is my new shift for this brand. So make sure you guys subscribe to the show, follow along, and I will have everything linked in the show notes, how you can follow me on TikTok and get on my email list. Okay. So this is exciting. There's more to come for 2026. So make sure you guys join me in this journey. So thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I will chat with you guys in the next episode.